What would happen if Monkey D Luffy, Naruto Uzamaki, and Ichigo Kurosaki all fought each other at the very start of their series? Who would win? Well, fortunately, that is something that we can find out without much stress. So, in today's episode of what I like to call doing whatever I want because I feel like it, that is exactly what we'll be doing, because I feel like it. Who am I? Call me JoJo, and this stuff is kind of what I do. Now, in this video series, if I don't get bored of it and if it does well, we'll be walking through the anime and manga of Bleach, Naruto, and One Piece from start to finish, one arc at a time. Now, I imagine that many of you might have questions like, what about the movies and animated specials? I will be addressing things like that when we come to them. However, this video is just to get us started on the right foot, and so we'll be covering the first manga chapter and first anime episode to see who would win in a fight. To start off, if any of you don't know much about one or more of these characters, let me give you a brief rundown. Naruto Uzumaki is a ninja who also has a fox demon in his belly and can use ninja magic. Very ninja-y. Monkey D Luffy is a pirate who ate a devil fruit and became a rubber man. Very stretchy. Ichigo Kurosaki is a soul reaper. His family is really wacky and he has special spirit powers that let him kill ghosts. Big sword, very ghostly. All three of these characters are the main characters of the three series known as the Big Three. The Big Three are three consistently best-selling franchises that ran about the same time in Shonen Jump, the world's most famous manga magazine. Now, all three of these characters have very unique arsenals and abilities, strengths and weaknesses. But the strongest of these three, at least at their debut, is easily Monkey D Luffy. I mean, just look at his punch against the King of the Coast, and it's not hard to see how easily he surpasses the other feats that other characters have done in their first chapter. He punched this sea monster so hard that it was launched into the sky. If he had just thrown it back a bit, that would be one thing, but he launched it out of the ocean. So, the reason there's not a question as to which of these characters is the strongest is because, even at just a glance, it's easy to see that the King of the Coast is quite literally 10 to 20 times larger and heavier than Ichigo's hollow, and possibly faster than it as well. Yet, that doesn't stop Ichigo from taking the title of second strongest among these three characters due to his fight with the hollow. Because of how easily he sliced that thing up, it would make sense that if push came to shove, he should be able to do the exact same feats. Coming in last on the physical strength tier is Naruto, as he has yet to demonstrate any notable feats of strength that really stand out. Sure, he knocked Mizuki back a few meters, but it simply can't compare to stopping a charging monster or punching a giant sea monster out of the ocean. Naruto does have the tailed beast inside him, but at one chapter in, there's absolutely no evidence he can use his chakra, and even if he could, he has not shown any chakra ability that could make up such a massive power gap. Naruto's best chance is to try to use speed to win the fight, as he has demonstrated quite a few impressive feats in that area. Naruto's most notable and possibly best feat of speed in this first episode of the anime is when he's running away after he vandalizes the Hokage's faces. It takes Naruto about 1/3 of a second to move between these two buildings, using him as a ruler, and we find that he covered a distance of about 8.72 meters. This time and this distance would put him at about 59.1 miles per hour, more than twice the speed of Usain Bolt, and quite on par with most cars moving on a highway. However, for as weird as it seems, Ichigo without his Soul Reaper powers is faster. From this scene in the anime, we actually see Ichigo moving his arms so fast that he flies. This might be one of the weirdest feats I've ever seen, and luckily, a lot of other people have calculated similar things on the internet. You can just Google it and you'll get a bunch of results. According to Reddit user AirB and ADDV, on r/they did the math, an average person would need to flap their arms at about 500 miles per hour, or 447 flaps per second in order to fly. This is about 9 times faster than Naruto, and this is without Ichigo's powers. Adding his powers to this, and this speed gap would widen considerably. Now, unlike both Naruto and Bleach, the first episode of the One Piece anime is actually very different from its first chapter in the manga, and so it does give Luffy a decent advantage. Unfortunately, that's just how this turned out in this particular instance. While there are multiple feats in both the anime and manga we could use to calculate his speed from kinetic energy, I don't know. Doing that would feel like a cop-out. Like, if we do it here, then that means we have to do it later as well, and that can get pretty wild and unreasonable. So instead of that, I'm going to look at this feat here. In the anime, Luffy casually takes on an entire pirate crew and one of the pirates swings so fast that, honestly, even if you don't blink, you probably still missed it. I mean, I know I did. The only reason I found this feat was because I was trying to figure out what Luffy was dodging. By timing out the sword's arc, we find that he made an entire sword swing in 0.08 of a second. On average, the human arm is about 25 inches long. So, taking that and adding the length of a cutlass, 27 inches, and we find a swing arc radius of 53 inches. Assuming that this pirate swing covers about 3/4 of a circle, and the tip of the sword moved about 249.75 inches. For this pirate sword to cover this distance in 0.08 seconds, he would need to be swinging at 177 miles per hour, almost 3 times Naruto's speed, and this firmly puts Luffy in second place when it comes to speed. So, just using the categories of speed and power, Luffy would likely clobber both Naruto and Ichigo, as he is so much stronger than both that it wouldn't take more than one hit. But speed and power is not all there is in a fight. Chapter 1 of Naruto has him making 1,000 clones and using them to pummel Nezuki. However, even with 1,000 clones, Naruto lacks any way to hurt Luffy, as Luffy has already been established to be immune to blunt force attacks. So even though Naruto can vastly outnumber Luffy, he can't deal any kind of significant damage, while Luffy, being faster and stronger, as well as specializing in taking on groups of opponents, could take his time and KO Luffy's clones one at a time until he hit the real Naruto. It is with Ichigo where this fight takes a turn. Because Chapter 1 explicitly states that Rukia, and by proxy Ichigo, is invisible to normal humans, neither Luffy nor Naruto can actually see Ichigo. This gives Ichigo a nearly insurmountable advantage. So in my opinion, Ichigo's speed, power, and invisibility would easily let him take out Naruto, as even if Naruto makes 1,000 clones, it's still an army of 1,000 12-year-olds. Not to mention that Ichigo carries a huge sword, which is established to be a great way of hurting Luffy. So while Luffy might be able to one-shot Ichigo if he landed an attack, landing an attack on an invisible opponent who is faster than him is incredibly unlikely. In the end, I would say that Ichigo would win a good majority of the fights, probably about 60 or 70%. And honestly, this is well within what I expected when I first decided to make this video, and I don't really expect the rankings to change that much for the next few arcs. Due to the fact that I have a nearly encyclopedic knowledge of One Piece feats, I would hazard a guess to say that Luffy will start taking the top spot consistently near the end of the first half of the Grand Line. The only thing that I recall that could affect this would be the massive explosion Ulquiorra makes during his fight with Ichigo. I have to say, I'm actually looking forward to recalculating that feat's power. I'm not really expecting Naruto to start winning until the last arc, as that's when he gets his largest and most absurd power-up. That said, this will also be my first time watching with an analytical eye, either Bleach or Naruto, so a lot can happen. I mean, I didn't think Ichigo was gonna fly in the first episode of the anime, and yet, here we are. That said, I hope it didn't make too many people mad.
That comes later.
After all, this is just one chapter an episode. Now, I do hope that you found this interesting and are interested in the series going forward. I'm still trying to work out a few things, and I might end up doing a few arcs at one time, considering how long these series are, but that's all for now. So, thanks for watching, see you next time, remember to stay spectacular, JoJo, out.